Guys, Asher Raid Legends, welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here with me today. Talking some raid. We got me, we got you, we got Skeletor from He-Man. What could be better? What could be better? Before we get into my first impressions on Skeletor, my best builds, plural, depending on where you are on your account, where and how you want to use this champion, I have a few ideas for you guys. I'll have a build that suits your needs. But before all of that, I have to implore you guys, in case you missed it, please go watch. If you have not already sunk resources into Skeletor, please watch the video. Well, it's titled, Watch This Before Building Skeletor, from yesterday. Watch this first on the thumbnail. Watch that video first, because I do fear that this champion is a bit of a trap for a lot of players out there, especially, you know, resource-intensive champion who may not be worth it. But I'll let you guys decide that for yourselves at the end of today's video. So without further ado, let's take a look at Skeletor. What I loved about the old He-Man cartoons, youngins gather around Grandpa Ash and listen in. They used to end every video, sort of like G.I. Joe cartoons, right? Do you like how I kind of psychologically scrolled down to the epics to find Skeletor? Oops. They used to end every video, every cartoon, every episode with kind of a life lesson, you know, and you can look back nowadays and it's easy to kind of poke fun at it or whatever, but I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that they tried to make it educational, probably for some programming things so they could, you know what I used to do? I used to like show my parents and be like, see, it's educational content, you know, at the end. Like, see, boys and girls, you should never judge a book by its cover. And they show Skeletor laughing at you or something like that.
Some people think the only way to solve a difference is to fight. Skeletor, for example, his answer to every problem is fight. He doesn't care who's right or wrong. He thinks that might makes right. Well, it doesn't. He-Man knows that. Even with all his power, he always tries to avoid fighting. Fighting doesn't solve problems. Fighting only makes more problems. See you soon.
Anyway, let's quickly review the kit again. Odds are you guys already know it. Let's start with the accuracy in all battles aura. Fantastic aura is going to help out a lot of players. This guy requires accuracy, but he's not super accuracy dependent because of this and his passive, which we'll get to in a moment. He has a 2-time hitter on his A1, has a 75% chance, 100 when booked, of increasing the duration of a random debuff on the target by 1 turn. Not amazing, but not bad either. On the Skull Comet A2 ability, 5-turn cooldown sucks. You can book it down to 3, though. If you book it down to 3, you're going to get a 100% chance of placing a petrification debuff on the target for 1 turn. Petrification is going to remove their buffs, going to make so they can't get buffed. It's going to make them lose the turn. It's a very good, it's the best CC debuff out there in the game. It is single target. Plays a decreased attack and a decreased speed for 2 turns instead against bosses. Big version, obviously. Whenever a petrification debuff is removed or expires on the enemy, has a 75% chance when booked, 50 without, of placing a decreased speed on them after that. Begone Fools A3 is an increased accuracy on all allies. Big version on a 5-turn, booked down to 3. Again, those books really stink because you want 3 turns on abilities like these. If you want to take advantage of them, that is going to be up to you guys. He has the block debuffs, a chance to steal block debuffs, and another random buff from each enemy. Not a bad little move there. Then decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 15% if an enemy's from the Talarian League Pact. Decreases that enemy's turn meter by 30% instead. So he's actually doing quite a bit here. He's stealing, starting with or prioritizing block debuffs and another buff. Increase accuracy to again alleviate the accuracy needed, along with the aura, along with the passive Master of Evil. Whenever this champion attempts to place a debuff, steal a buff, basically anything that he's going to be doing here, right? Increases his accuracy by 20 for each buff on the enemy. This essentially alleviates the need for a ton of accuracy on the build, especially in areas like the arena where it is really required. Whenever this champion is hit, has a 40% chance to place a big version of decreased resistance on the attacker for 1 turn, 75% against champions from the Talarian League. So, what do we think? First of all, I will say out the gate, Master of Evil passive, the decreased resistance, super handy against bosses. I will say that. And decrease attack and decrease speed, really nice debuffs to have against bosses as well, albeit all on a single target. His base stats aren't too bad, 21k on the HP, and everything else is about average, okay? His multipliers are not good. He's not dealing any damage, so don't even think about damage when it comes to Skeletor, right? We're not even building him in any way thinking that he's going to be doing some DPS heavy lifting for us on our team. We will do the Masteries together, but I wanted to share 5 builds for you guys, starting with probably the most end game of all the builds, and that is going to be, I have a random feral piece here that's, just for the accuracy, but a stone skin 4-piece and pinpoint 4-piece. This is great for the arena. Obviously, it's going to protect him with stone skin and protect him with an intercept from the pinpoint and give him all the accuracy that he needs as well. Obviously, we still want accuracy. We can't totally negate it because 50% of no accuracy bonus is not going to be helpful, right? It's still 0. So we still want to get accuracy on this build, and we have not picked out the Masteries there. We'll talk about the Masteries and choose them together and talk about what makes sense depending on how you want to use Skeletor, so we can certainly add to this substantially. So these are going to be the stats on this particular build here. We could definitely have them go quite a bit faster, but I tried to use not the best gear on my account here to make it somewhat relatable. 408 on the accuracy. Speed and accuracy are going to be the priorities, but let's get back to the other builds here. So if I go to the old preset manager, you can see Skeletor is 5 out of 5 on the champion presets. Let's start with a very basic, be right back. Okay, you know what's insane, guys, in this freaking game? How fast you can have like millions and millions and millions of silver and how fast it can be gone. Sometimes I'll be farming like Spider, and I'll get back and I'll be like, oh, 40 million silver, 50, 80 million. And then like in a week, I'm broke. Sometimes less than that. And that was the case more recently. Anyway, shield set or bolster, right? Bolster is kind of back in endgame meta right now, mainly because of Marius, right? Stone Skin, Squishy Champions, Stone Skin doesn't work anymore against Marius. So bolster is very, very good. But if you don't have bolster, then obviously shield is going to be fine, right? 21k HP, especially in the early game, it scales very well. I have like a hodgepodge of random sets here, a little bit of Stone Skin, a little bit of Perception there. Stone Skin just coming from the accessories for another build, or for the previous build. But shield set works very, very well everywhere, basically, on Skeletor. Help keep everybody else alive on your team. If I was an early game player, I would try to maximize HP because it scales, again, fairly well. We have 91k here. We have HP on the gauntlets. We have HP on the chest. And we have speed with some HP on the boots here. Just go all out HP, right? Obviously, for a shield set, for a bolster set, and protect your team and get more utility out of Skeletor. Let's go to the third build. Third build is going to be a combination of accuracy and or perception gear, right? Obviously, we want accuracy. We want speed on Skeletor. Those are the two, stat priorities on this champion. So absolutely works perfectly well. This is the direction that I would go again for the early game if I didn't want to go shield set, especially if I wanted to get extra arena utility out of Skeletor as well. For Iron Twins, he's actually really good in Iron Twins. I'll show you that in a moment here. You could use a build just like this. It would work out beautifully for you guys. So again, just straight up perception. Like I have HP, I have accuracy on the chest, which is going to help me out in the arena. That's how I was able to get the accuracy all the way up to 534, 268 on the speed with some survivability. The next build, guys, is going to be kind of an end game-ish build here, and that is Feral. Feral actually works really well on Skeletor because, man, my man can get sheeped big time. Now, you might not be going against a lot of polymorph champions. This is more of an arena-specific build here, but Feral works well on him. If it's a 1-piece, if it's a 2-piece, 3, 4, 5, or 6-piece, it's still going to work very well on a Skeletor. Heck, if you have it, even a 9-piece because of the 2 or 3 debuffs that he can rock on that A2. Now, it's pretty unrealistic, but Feral is going to be good to protect him from the polymorph. Same thing goes with Pinpoint, right? So Pinpoint and Stone Skin, as I showed you guys earlier, is going to work very well. Here's the stats that I have, by the way, on the Feral build. 395 on the accuracy, 272 with a little bit of survivability there as well. Feral gear, we're kind of limited on the artifacts and the accessories that we actually have, right? So what am I leaving off? At Feral, Perception, let's throw him in the Pinpoint, right? Again, Pinpoint here, it's going to help you with... It's going to help you with the I mean, I guess we're just going to leave him in feral, boys and girls, because I am so broke right now. For blessings, when you guys get the blessing on Skeletor, I personally would go with Brimstone. I think that Brimstone is the way to go. Add a little bit of extra damage out of this champion. It's going to help you guys out. To rely on him other than just like basically War Master is where the rest of his damage is going to go. Now, talking about masteries on this champion, there's two ways to build him. I'm going to build both ways for you guys. One mainly for live arena, for the regular arena, for any arena, tag team if you play that, and one for just general PvE content. So general PvE content, let me push over here, is going to be just the typical kind of hug on the left-hand side here, ending all the way down at War Master, right? That's it. I'm not going to touch anything else on the offensive tree. I'm just going to go down, pick up War Master. I guess I'll just stay right over here. I just want to pick up War Master for extra damage against bosses primarily, right? He's not bringing much damage to the table. Brimstone and War Master will certainly help in that regard. I want to go with pinpoint accuracy, and then I just want to go with all the accuracy masteries, right? Pretty simple. If I don't have one of those crazy pinpoint or feral or whatever sets on him, if I'm using perception, accuracy gear, stuff like that, I'll probably go Lore of Steel, so I'll just go Lore of Steel here. Master Hexer, extend the duration of those debuffs, especially if you're not booking out that A2 ability, is going to be great, so we definitely want to go Master Hexer. You could go Lasting Gifts. I could come down Cycle of Magic and then pick up Lasting Gifts, but it depends on if you're booking this champion. If you're not booking Skeletor, it would behoove you to go Sniper instead of Lasting Gifts. If you are booking Skeletor, you would want to go Lasting Gifts. We want to get those 75 up to an 80% chance of placing those debuffs, again, if you don't book him. I'm going to say that we're going to book him in today's video, so we'll go with Lasting Gifts because my Skeletor is booked. However, I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I don't think I would recommend people fully booking Skeletor unless you absolutely needed what he brings to the table, which we'll see in just a moment. Arcane Celerity is going to be great. That's going to increase his turn meter, depending on the number of debuffs, or when the debuffs, excuse me, expire on the enemy. We'll go with, he's not bringing a shield. I'll go Exalted Death. So this would be a general PvE mastery build for Skeletor with War Master, and I'll reset it. We'll take all the accuracy again. We'll basically keep everything the same here for the most part. We're going to go down, pick up again, Lasting Gifts, and now we're going to go all the way down to Eagle Eye for that extra 50 accuracy. Now, we don't really need to go offense at this point because it didn't have crit rate or crit damage, so I'm going to push myself over, and then we're just going to fill in the blanks here. We can go with extra defense, or we can go extra resist. Either way is totally fine. I'm personally going to go with the defense because it will help us out to have mitigated damage from AoE attacks, and Resurgent is so nasty that I always want to pick it up if I can. Now, he does have Harvest Despair as an option for Skeletor because we have a chance, a 60% chance at that, of placing a leech when he places his Petrification on his A2 ability. That can be, you know, pretty good, you know, not a game changer because Petrification isn't going to work against most bosses, but it is a consideration you may want to make on your account. Instead, I'm just going to go with more Shadow Heal, more healing. We can go again with Exalted Death. That's totally fine. We can go Delay Death, helpful against bosses, and then we can go with Retribution, a counterattack to extend duration of the debuffs on the target who is counterattacking. So that was these are the masteries that I would go for. Again, you might want to go Sniper with that caveat for a PvE build. I'm just going to stay in this build because I don't want to spend gems at this point, right? I've already sunk enough cost into good old Skeletor, who, by the way, looks amazing. Looks amazing. Not one of my favorite legendaries in the game, but he looks great, right? That's all that counts. I want to actually just take a quick look at Skeletor and He-Man together in the game, just to take a look at their animations before we jump into Iron Twins and then jump into the arena. So obviously He-Man is a damage dealer extraordinaire. Arguably, well, not arguably, a better champion than Skeletor. Quite different, but a better champion. And of course, he's the one that costs money, right? Oh, funny how life works that way, right? So you can see He-Man kind of master the universe. We'll use them together too in the arena. We may as well. He-Man can smack with those abilities, as you guys can see, but, you know, the decreased attack, the decreased speed, especially against bosses, as you can see before your very eyes, is certainly helpful, right? Also, when he gets attacked, he has a chance of placing the decreased resistance, and you can see extending that decreased speed with the A1 right there. It's a 4-turn duration. on the decreased speed, 2 turn, now make it 3 turn on the decreased attack. That's the power of that A1 ability that he brings to the table. All right, let's go over to the Iron Twins. So I put this team together, guys. It's a couple Painkeepers. It's a Geomancer, a Skeletor using that accuracy aura. It's going to be very helpful for a lot of players. And a block damage champion. In this case, we're going to be using Demitha. The team set up really quickly so you can see the team. And what we're doing here is prioritizing Skull Comet. We're going to prioritize Quicksand Grasp, not use the A2 for Geomancer. Demitha, we're going to prioritize the A3 to block damage. And Painkeeper, the same kind of setup there. Painkeeper times 2. So you'll see this is probably one of the better use cases for a Skeletor, right? Comes in there, decreased speed, very good, obviously, against the Iron Twin. And now, I mean, he's going to help with the increased accuracy, which is going to lower, I mean, obviously, Iron Twin's notorious for having very high resistance. It's going to help Geomancer ensure that he's always landing the HP burn because he's really our only damage dealer, right, on this squad. So we're going to take 1 hit to the face here, and you'll see the decreased resistance on the Iron Twin, right? So between the aura, between the increased resistance, everything he's bringing to the table here, you can really start to see the utility that he can provide to your account. Now, I do want to, acknowledge what we talked about in yesterday's video. He's a bit limited, right? And these debuffs, it's not like Skeletor is the only one who has them, right? With the caveat of course, there is the petrification, which can be useful in the arena. But, again, I want to, at the same time, talking about what he's good at, I do want to temper and say that I would not, say what I said in yesterday's video. I would not recommend new players out there invest heavily in Skeletor because he's a legendary. That's the problem. If it was an epic, I'd say, yeah, worth your skill tomes. Certainly, he can help you in wave content. He can help you in faction wars as well. Let's come to the end of this run, or let's fast forward, I should say, to the end of this run. But I love that decreased resistance, right? Really, really helpful here. All right, so let's do one more attack. Let Geo, you're going to land. Okay, Begone Fools comes in. Geo's going to land that HP burn. I'll come back at you guys when this one is over. All right, guys, there he goes. Iron Twin goes down. So not too bad here. We did lose one Painkeeper at the very end of the battle, but Skeletor definitely holding it down and really making a lot of that magic happen in terms of the debuff extension and everything that you guys just saw. So let's go ahead and jump into the arena and see what Skeletor can do alongside He-Man in the arena. All right, guys, so here we go inside the arena. We have Armons, He-Man, Skeletor, and Alika as a lockout champion. The cool thing with He-Man is he has a speed in arena battles aura too, so if we didn't have an Armons, we could put him in the lead and we could run anybody else there. Obviously, I threw this team together. We have He-Man alongside because it just feels right, but really any nuker will do in that position. Fastest on the team is going to be our lockout champion. In this case, it's going to be Alika. She's going to go in there, and we did get a resist there against Crixia, but, okay, let's get Crixia, get out of here. There you go. Armons, take care of her. All right, so here we go. I mean, things are pretty much on lockdown right now. There's no buffs to steal. We could petrify their reviver. Why not? So let's go against Siffy, petrify her. That's great. Let's just AoE here with He-Man. He-Man. I feel like that should play every time we do anything. Let's just take her out. Why not? No, we couldn't take her out. Did we not crit there? Oh, I had Alika built super, super fast. Okay. So now, yeah. I mean, I could take out, see the turn meter is not too bad on the A3. Let's just go over here. Okay. So you can see, what do we think of Skeletor? What do we think of this dude? Unfortunately, and I hate to say this, unfortunately, I basically stand by what I said in yesterday's video, right? I'm so in love with the IP. I think he's super cool. He looks amazing. They killed it with this design, but I think a single target petrify, outside of Iron Twins, maybe some wave content, faction wars, areas like that. I feel like he can certainly be very helpful in those areas. No doubt about it. However, and the downside is, and this is the whole problem with Skeletor. This is the juxtaposition of Skeletor, right? Or the catch-22. The players who can benefit the most from a kit like this are the players who I generally would not advise book out a legendary with a kit like this. Even in yesterday's video, when I was kind of throwing a little bit of shade at him, I got a few comments saying, Ash, you're out of touch. New players would love a kit like this. And that's true, but you can use him without booking him, right? Unfortunately, he's a lot more capable when he's booked, right? And that is something that I didn't really recognize fully until I had my own free-to-play account, because I found myself suddenly, my threshold for a champion that I thought was bookable was actually higher, not lower, because those resources are so much more scarce. And I think that's the point I was trying to drive home in yesterday's video. Anyway, I feel like we should have won this already. Did I screw up? Alika, we really need some damage out of you. We need to rebuild you. I just put all speed here as a lockout, right? Narcissus, you're scaring the hell out of me over there, buddy. We're going to turn you into that. So we're dealing with a dead star of the show right now, which is not necessarily ideal. But, hey, we can lock them all out, and He-Man will finish the job. Feels weird to have He-Man. I did a collab with Nubraids way back in the day, and I think YST as well was a three-way collab, and we talked about the IPs that we most want to see inside Raid, and He-Man, I want to say, was top 3. I want to say he was top 3. Might have been Link from Legend of Zelda was number 1, if I remember correctly. If I can find that video, I'll link it in the show notes below for you guys. All right, let's go. Dude, I'm out of everything today. Silver, arena battles, you name it. I don't got it. All right, let's go in. Let's go in. All right, having a reviver would be nice here. Having the bolster set, well, he has the feral, right? Is that what we left off on? We didn't go first, so we're screwed in this battle, unfortunately. So, next. All right, guys, I found this team here. We'll end it on this one. But overall, you know, what do you think of Skeletor? Hopefully these builds helped you guys out if you did make the decision. Let's see. Who do we want to lock out here? I think Odin's the way to go because he has the buff removal, obviously. Armand's comes in. Stop messing with my Skeletor, man. All right, Marius is a threat we have to deal with, so we could petrify against Marius. There's nothing to steal right now. So I feel like normally I would petrify Marius in this situation, but I think I'm going to petrify Armand. No, I can't. I don't want to cross affinity. All right, Marius it is. So at least Marius is out of the equation for a little bit here. Let's stun the rest. All right, so we're kind of, sort of in the driver's seat here. Let's see. Stupid block damage. But the good thing about the block damage is we can steal it. He-Man, don't let me down here. Kill Marius. All right. Let's get Siffy out of here. Okay. There's nothing to steal again. We have the decreased turn meter. We could just burn it to decrease turn. I think we're going to do it just as a decreased turn meter. Eesh. Marius scares the hell out of me. I really need to build Alika with more. Okay, good. Marius is down. I think we're in the driver's seat here now. But it was scary. And of course, just like that, block damage. Block damage is back up for He-Man. He's enfeebled anyway. It doesn't matter. All right. Armand's, you're back up. Let's lock him down. Lock him out. Beautiful. Nice job, Alika. Should build her for damage, but that lockout alone is worth it. Let's extend, I guess, the duration of the leech. Sure, why not? Why not? All right. Alika's asleep. Let's get Siffy out of there. He-Man, finally, buddy. Boom. All right, Odin down, which is good because he has a revive if he kills somebody. It's time to petrify Siffy the Lost Bride. Oof. We are nailing it here. High value on Siffy? Sure, why not? You know what? This last battle was like the best case scenario of all Skeletor can bring inside the arena. Was it not, guys? You know, stealing the block damage from Odin, petrifying Marius at first, and then petrifying the Reviver and Siffy. Not bad, right? Even the increased accuracy can help our lockout in Alika. She has around 500 or 600, around 600 accuracy, but obviously that definitely helps. So, hey, all in all, not too bad, right? Not too bad. I still don't think that he's going to be an obvious max out for the books, but I've made my point here. Watch yesterday's video to find out more of why I feel the way I do about Skeletor. Suffice it to say, if he was an epic, I'd be actually a bit more excited because of the resource intensity that goes into building him. But hey, Iron Twins content, just random kind of progression content can certainly help you out. Again, those debuffs can be utilized against a lot of bosses, the decreased speed and the decreased attack, right? You know what? You can even use him in early game clan boss, again, as a debuff on that A2 ability. So overall, I would give Skeletor kind of like a 2 out of 5, a 4 out of 10, somewhere in that neighborhood, you know, just not the best, most strong legendary in the game, but he definitely has a kit that can provide some utilities, hopefully that we demonstrated in this video. Let me know if you plan on investing in him, meaning are you going to book this dude out? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my take on the Skeletor. Thank you for watching till the end of the video, and as always, take care, guys.